Hi, welcome to the Gear Garage. My name is Zach, and this is my little show about whitewater things. And in today's episode, I want to review the Yeti Panga Duffel, or Panga, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. This is a waterproof duffel that Yeti makes. It's awesome. I just used it on a Middle Fork trip and a Grand Canyon trip, and I have some really awesome thoughts about this dry bag. The first thing is it's expensive. It's $400. It's a very expensive dry bag. And I want to explain at the end why I think it's worth it. And as we go, I'm going to compare it to the Watershed dry bag because this is just a classic. This is another really good dry bag. This is mine that's 25 years old. It still works great. And I want to talk about the comparison more at the end, but I'll make some comparisons as we go. So first of all, this thing's just bomber. This fabric is thick. It's definitely thicker than the Watershed. I don't feel like I'm going to ever have a problem with durability on the material. The bottom is extra thick. It has this Yeti branding on the bottom, which I think is kind of silly and over the top, but whatever. But it's an extra thick layer. It's really smart to make the bottom thicker because that's the part that gets the most use. So I would actually feel comfortable dragging this thing over rocks and sand and not worrying about it that much. It's that durable. It also has tons of awesome tie downs. You know, we're always tying these bags into boats, so it has these here that are handles you can tie down to. These handles at the ends you can tie down to. There's all these loops here that are just bomber. There's so many opportunities to tie this bag down, which is really cool. It also has backpack straps. And so a lot of times you want to carry your dry bag on your back, either when you're hiking into a river or just from your boat to camp. These backpack straps are super handy. And they're also super optional. You'll find out a lot of dry bags, backpack straps are like permanently attached. And they are potentially hazards. Like you could get, when this is tied in your boat, you could get an arm stuck in here. They don't really follow the clean land principle that well. But they're super removable. You just kind of undo this little clip. There's a little kind of carabiner at the end. I'm not going to do it now. But you can have these or you can not have them. It's up to you. So you can have a duffel without backpack straps, or these. They're really sweet. I've been using them. I like them. I think they're really cool. The one big differentiating factor between other dry bags is that this has a zipper closure, which I like, but I have some minor concerns about. So the reason I like it is it's really easy access. I can open and close my dry bag really easy. And so I found myself on trips, even though my dry bag is in the back, I would actually get into it once in a while. So if I left like a layer right here, I could unzip it in the stack, grab the layer out, put it on, and zip it back up. So having that kind of access is really sweet. And just opening and closing it every day was really nice. I had my clothes in here for a Grand Canyon trip, and I had my sleeping bag in Watershed during the Grand Canyon trip. And I loved opening and closing this. I was like getting slightly annoyed about opening and closing my Colorado bag just because it's more work. And so it's just convenient and really nice. I did find on my first trip, my sleeping bag was in here, my expensive down sleeping bag, and my expensive down jacket, that when you're opening it and especially closing it, if you close it, the zipper can catch on fabric. And if it caught on like your cotton t-shirt, not a big deal. But it caught on both my expensive sleeping bag and my expensive down jacket and put little holes in each. So when you have nice thin fabrics on expensive things, you want to be really careful where you put them in here and be really thoughtful about opening and closing them, because it put or tear my down jacket and feathers are coming out. So you have to be thoughtful about that. The other thing is the zipper is sort of a mechanical thing. So it could break. That is something that could happen. I don't think it's going to break. It's possible though. So where you have like a Watershed bag that has a roll top closure, you can't break this closure and you roll it down. This is ultimately the most durable thing. The zipper is super convenient, makes this a super awesome bag, but it's possible that something happens with the zipper and it breaks. So that's a little bit of a concern of mine. But other than that, this thing is super awesome. It comes in 3 sizes, 50, 75, and 100 liter. This is the 100 liter. If you have a Watershed Colorado, that's a 75 liter bag. So you can get the same size in this, or if you want a little bit of an upgrade, with a little bit more space without being as obnoxious as having a Watershed Mississippi, which are obnoxious bags. They just, for whatever reason, they really bother me. Those are like 111. This is 100 liters. So the Mississippi is 111 liters. This is 100 liters, so it's not quite as obnoxious. And I was very thoughtful to not fill it to the gills. So I put the normal amount of stuff I had in there, but it was nice to have space and just be able to go through things that just shoved close. So I actually put probably 80 liters worth of stuff in here just to have the extra room to be organized, which I really liked. So I think the sizing is really cool. If you want something a little bit bigger than the Mississippi without going all the way to the, I'm sorry, a little bit bigger than the Colorado without going all the way to the Mississippi size. The last thing is, I know Yeti's gonna back this up. I've returned a couple things to Yeti because of a broken zipper on a product, which they gave me the newer, better version of it. I feel like this is a dry bag that's gonna last me a lifetime. If 10 years from now the zipper breaks and I send it back to Yeti, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe they will fix it or replace it. I think they'll replace it. I think they just back up their products that well. And part of what you're paying for is that long-term backing up of the product. And other companies just can't afford to do that, in part because they don't charge that much for their product. So what you're paying for, I think I bought myself here a dry bag I'm gonna have for 30 years plus. I can give it to, I'll pass this on. And I think I like that because I get used to a dry bag, but from an environmental standpoint, instead of buying a new dry bag every 10 or 15 years, I bought one that's gonna last me a long time. It also makes some financial sense, but I'm not gonna get into, I mean, that's a whole separate thing. But I'm a big fan of, let's buy a top quality product that will last a long time, and that I'm not gonna have to buy it again in the future, and I'm not throwing away in 5, 10, 15 years and buying a new one to replace it, because it's just not good for the environment to have disposable stuff. So I'm stoked. I'm gonna give this dry bag, whatever, 5 out of 5 stars. I'm super stoked on it. My only little caveat, and the zipper is a little tiny bit of a worry, but other than that, it's great. Now, the big thing is the price tag. People are like, every time they see this, they're like, wow, you know, baller, big spender. I get that comment a few times, like, oh, Yeti dry bag. Yeah, it's $400. It's a lot of money. These Watershed Colorados, when I bought this one, it was $100 back in the late 90s. Now they're $219. So you're paying almost double what a Colorado is. I feel like the new Colorados, though, the new fabric is going to wear out. A lot of you have probably seen this. The new Colorados, they get faded, they get old. This old fabric is awesome. I feel like Watershed has raised their prices, but also gone backwards on fabric and quality. So you're not getting as good of a bag now as you got 25 years ago. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like with the Yeti, they're saying, hey, no spence spared. We're gonna come up with the best fabrics, top quality, everything, and we're gonna back it up. And that's kind of what you're paying for. You're sort of paying for the best. And so even though $400 does seem obnoxious, and when I bought it, it was a lot of money. I was like, wow, I'm paying this much for a dry bag. I really do feel like I'm getting a $400 product, and I'm gonna get that out of it, because if you bought a new dry bag right now from Watershed, this is just my opinion, I'm trying not to badmouth Watershed. They make a great bag, it's the next best bag for sure, but it probably only has 10 or 15 years of life, because they do, it depends how you use it. If you use it once a year, twice a year, you're fine. But if you check out most river guides who have current Watersheds, they just wear out, and I see the newer ones wear out quite a bit. Whereas this, I just don't see this thing wearing out. I think this thing is bomber. So that's why I think it's worth $400. And you know, in 10 years, if you need to sell it, it's probably still worth money. It still has a value because it's a solid product. So those are my thoughts. The Yeti Panga. This is the 100. This is my new go-to dry bag for all my trips, and even for traveling. I think it's a great bag for traveling. If you have questions, comments, thoughts, as always, put it in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, do all the things. And yep, thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.